So Representative Freeman, welcome to Juday. You have House Bill 375.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Oh, I am way too short for these chairs. So I've got to do this. So maybe I should stand. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 375 is a bill that I had pre-filed in my first session before COVID and did not have time to fully work on it, so I did not present it last year. But in the meantime, that gave us time to work on it, of working with Sexual Trauma Awareness Response Group and the Apartment Association, and we could come to agreements on how it works. And what happens with this bill is that if someone is sexually assaulted, they are able to terminate their lease with proper paperwork and documentation. And that allows, someone can't just mention that they're sexually assaulted. They actually have to have proper documentation from 4 different potential sources. And again, we worked very closely with the Apartment Association and others. And in the House side, we had some survivors of sexual assault come testify. I don't know that there are any here today. I got some emails. And I don't know, Mr. Chairman, how you want me to approach that, or maybe they emailed some of you all as well.
We do have 2 emails that, and I know one of them is in your folder for the members from of testimony. One from Alexander Thibodeau, talking about the bill for the record, and then also Isabel Rivera has also submitted testimony for the members, and they'll have a copy of their testimony.
Okay, and I just would like to say that I'm carrying this bill on behalf of the survivors who had issues, who were unable to terminate leases in the past, or forced to stay in a dorm maybe on an LSU campus that they shouldn't have been forced to stay in, where they felt very afraid for their lives. And so that's some of the testimony that I can't speak for them because they're not here, and some of them aren't comfortable sharing, but I'd be happy to share these testimonies with your committee and send them around for people to read, because I think it's more appropriate for you all to read them than me, because I'm not them. I don't think I can speak for them. But I am supporting them, and that's why I came with this bill. And I'll be happy to answer any questions. Morgan Lamondre from STAR is here, and so is Jennifer Ansardi from the Apartment Association.
Would you like to add anything? Welcome to Juday.
Thank you. Good morning. Morgan Lamondre, work at Sexual Trauma Awareness and Response, or STAR for short. And we approached Representative Freeman about this bill. We currently already have a process to do this in law for domestic violence survivors. It did not extend to non-intimate partner sexual assault survivors. So typically where we see this as an issue tends to be on our college campus. Students in college who maybe they're sexually assaulted. By being in the place where you were assaulted or near that place, you tend to relive the trauma, especially if it is your home, which over 50% of sexual assault happens at a survivor's home. But there are typically a lot of college students who they may not want to fulfill their year at college and they just want to go home after they've been assaulted. So this allows for early termination. There's definitely a very strict process that survivors must abide by. I do want to thank Jennifer Ansardi from the Apartment Association. Last year, by not bringing this bill because of the pandemic, was sort of a blessing in disguise, in that we were really able to work on all of the concerns the Apartment Association had. And this is a process that we believe will help survivors while also making sure the Apartment Association, those who own property, will not have any issues in fulfilling the obligations that they would have under this bill. But I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. We do appreciate you working with them and coming to a consensus and everything. And we have nothing but green cards in favor of this bill. And
It's always a good sign.
This is a bill that unfortunately is needed, but we're going to put it into state law, and we appreciate the work and the hard work of Representative Freeman for bringing this. Let me read in the cards. Morgan Lamondre with Sexual Trauma Awareness Response. Is that correct?
Sexual Trauma Awareness and Response. STARS.
Response.
Fine,
Okay.
too.
We have Jamie Steele, the Louisiana Counseling Association, is in favor but not wishing to speak. Peter Robbins Brown, Louisiana Progress Action, is in favor but not wishing to speak. Mariah Wazinski, Louisiana Coalition Against Domestic Violence is in favor but not wishing to speak. Letitia Davis, Louisiana Coalition Against Domestic Violence is in favor but not wishing to speak. And we do have Jennifer Ansardi with the Apartment Association of Louisiana is in favor but not wishing to speak. We do have a few more. We have Katie Hunter Lowry, Louisiana Survivors for Reform, would like to speak. If you'd like to come forward, please. And we have Maxwell Caladoro with Louisiana Fair Housing Action is present and would like to speak. If y'all would both, you wave, okay? Well, the board is clear. You do have a good bill. Unfortunately, we need legislation like this, but we thank you for doing it. We appreciate you working with all the parties involved to make it work and not having any unintended consequences out there. So at the appropriate time, Senator Cloud, we have an amendment. Okay. Members, we have a set of amendments 1511. Mr. Guillotte, will you explain to us this amendment?
Well, I need the author to confirm. To me, this is a technical amendment, but it may not be, so here's the issue.
Make it a
The definition of sexual assault on page 1. There's a definition of sexual assault on page 1 that is very broad. However, on the floor, there was a definition of sexual assault victim, which is not means a victim of sexual assault as defined in Title 46, which is a narrower definition. So was it intended that would be that disconnect, that a sexual assault would be broader than a sexual assault victim?
Yes, there was, we had to fix the definition for sexual assault, and there was a definition that included children and all, and we worked with the Apartment Association. We did need that narrower definition of a victim.
Then I'd suggest we not consider the amendment.
Okay, well, we have no amendment, so we have a motion by Senator Cloud to report House Bill 375 favorably. Is there any discussion on that motion? Any objection to that motion? House Bill 375 is reported favorable. Thank you for coming
Thank you,
today.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.